Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. And Shalom to all the sincere believers. Now, this lesson is going to be based on this article about Trump threatening to block the bridge between the U.S. and Canada. So through the Spirit, I'm going to read this article, get some precepts, and Lord's will, you're edified. It says, Canadian PM responds to Trump threat to block bridge between U.S. and Canada. The Canadian Prime Minister, Mark Carney, said Tuesday he looks forward to the opening of a new bridge between the United States and Canada, a day after President Donald Trump threatened to block the multi-billion-dollar project. In a social media post on Monday, Trump said, "I will not allow this bridge to open until the United States is fully compensated for everything we have given them, and also, importantly, Canada treats the United States with the fairness and respect that we deserve." And let's just be real, America, the United States, doesn't deserve any respect. All the atrocities that this place has committed. The last thing America deserves is respect. Talking about fairness, as if that's ever, as if America has ever been fair to anybody. Not even their own allies. Not even their own Edomite allies. It says Trump did not mention the bridge by name, but appears to be referring to the Gordie Howe International Bridge. The 6-lane project is set to connect Windsor, Ontario, which is in Canada, and Detroit, Michigan, which is Trump said that he plans to start negotiations immediately, seeming to refer to a deal on the bridge, and repeated his ongoing criticism of Canada since he began a trade war with America's northern neighbor. You see, this is why everyone says Trump is the problem. Because Canada has been nothing but nice to the U.S., and yet here comes Trump just being a total, whatever word you want to put there. That with all that we have given them, we should own perhaps at least one half of this asset. The revenues generated because of the U.S. market will be astronomical, Trump said in the post. You see, this is what he does. He makes everything about him. Like it's supposed to be a joint thing between the U.S. and Canada, but Trump is like, oh yeah, everything's going to happen because of us, because of the U.S. It's like he's such a child. He's such a child. The $4.7 billion bridge has been under construction since 2018. It is expected to open early this year, with major construction complete, though an opening date has not yet been announced. Its construction is being financed and overseen by the Canadian government. So if Canada is financing it, then what the hell is Trump talking about, acting like this was some equal thing? Like, Trump has always been the problem. And even America's own allies, who are about to become former allies, are seeing it. Carney said he spoke to Trump on Tuesday and discussed the bridge and its ownership. Said, "I explained that Canada paid for the construction of the bridge more than $4 billion, and that ownership is shared between the state of Michigan and the government of Canada," Carney told reporters. Ontario Premier Doug Ford also told reporters on Tuesday that under the terms of the existing agreement between Canada and the U.S., once Canada pays off the bridge through tolls, Michigan will own half of it. Yeah, because it's connecting part of Canada and part of the U.S. But see, Trump, he's not listening to that. He wants to be in control of everything. And that's not how it works. That's not how business works. You see, Canada is trying to let him know that it's a two-way street. But Trump just wants all the credit for everything. So Carney said he had a quote-unquote positive conversation with Trump and emphasized the cooperation between the two neighbors with Canadian and American steel, as well as workers from both countries involved in the construction. He said, "We very much look forward to the bridge opening," Carney said. "What is particularly important, of course, is the commerce, the tourism, and the travel of Canadians and Americans who will cross that bridge." Carney added that Trump suggested U.S. Ambassador to Canada, Pete Hoekstra, a former congressman from Michigan, play a role in helping to smooth discussions around the bridge. During his call with Carney, Trump stressed that he was putting America's interests first. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said during a press briefing Tuesday. Asked why Trump has now changed his mind about the bridge after initially expressing support during his first term, Leavitt said it was unacceptable to the president that more American-made materials weren't being used in its construction, and that he believes the U.S. should participate in the economic benefits generated by its use. But the thing is, America will participate in the benefits. You know, the commerce of things going back and forth between Canada and America and the U.S. Like people going back and forth over the toll, uh, materials coming in from into the U.S. from Canada, America will benefit from it. Ford said he is very confident the bridge will open because it's in the best interest of the American economy. He said the worst thing you can do is hurt the American economy and continue to hurt the American economy, he said. And that's what Trump is doing, because Trump is being a total douche and you know, just causing problems. Like, he really needs to just sit down somewhere and let everybody else handle it. Because with the way that he acts, everything is always going to fall apart. And of course, his mindless little followers are going to agree with him when they don't even know what's going on. This is that division between Edomites that's ultimately going to lead to America's own allies shooting missiles on this wicked ass place. Luke 12 and 51, suppose you that I'm coming to give peace on earth, I tell you nay, but rather division. And we can see it, because like I said in that article, one minute Trump is, supporting the bridge, and he's all for it. And now the next minute he's talking about threatening to block its completion, or its opening at least, because he feels like America is not getting a big enough, uh, doesn't have a big enough like stake in the project. There's not enough American-made materials being used, and all of this nonsense. And then the Canadian government, they're responding with more grace, and they're trying to explain to him, like, at the end of the day, once the bridge is completed and open, and traffic is flowing through, both sides will benefit. But see, Trump is always like, screw everybody else. America has to have everything and y'all get nothing. And that's just not how it works. And everybody's really fed up with that. You know, like everyone's getting real tired of trying to work with this man, and he wants to act like a toddler all the time because he's not getting things 100% his way. Matthew 20, Matthew 12 and 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts, and said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And the house of Esau is divided. You know, the Edomites up in Canada, the Edomites up in the UK, Italy, Germany, and France, they don't agree with the wickedness that's going on here in America. You know, or maybe they do, and they're just, you know, trying to seem like they don't. But, you know, with the whole ICE situation going on here in the US, you know, even like everybody on an international stage is like, yeah, we don't condone that. We don't agree with that. You know, so before where these Edomites were always on the same page, now the Lord is having it whereas they're questioning each other. They're now having trade wars amongst each other. You know, there's a lot of threats being thrown back and forth. Yeah, so these Edomites, they're divided, and that division is only going to get bigger and bigger until ultimately America has no allies left. And that's going to be part of the downfall of America because Canada has plenty of other countries that they could work with. But because there has been a partnership between Canada and the US for so long, you know, Canada still wants to work with the US. But with Trump in office, it's just like the most difficult thing to do. It's like pulling teeth, you know? So like, and it's gonna get to a point where everyone's just like, it's not worth it, you know? And that will be Trump's fault because he thinks he's a god. He thinks he's a king. He thinks everyone's just supposed to bow down to him and only do things that please him. You know, and that's just not how it works. And I can almost guarantee that all these other Edomites, you know, the Canadian ones, the Italian ones, the French ones, the UK ones, the German ones, they probably talk so much shit about this man behind his back because he's literally a grown toddler, you know? And him acting the way that he's acting is actually doing more harm to the US than good. But he doesn't see it that way. He can't have this mindset of putting America first, but screw over everybody in the process and think that's going to play out well. But that's exactly how he thinks. He really has this mindset of, oh, America doesn't need anybody. America can do everything on its own, when that's actually not the case. America does not have the infrastructure to stand by itself. America does not have enough resources to stand by itself. So America needs its allies. But Trump doesn't understand that. And it's that lack of understanding that's going to keep hurting the US. But see, the Lord is the one that's putting all of this in motion. The Lord is the one who's causing all of this division. Like I read in Luke 12 and 51. The Lord came to send division, not peace, but division. And we see the division happening. This is why the men of the Lord are constantly saying that there is no getting around the validity of these scriptures. It's literally playing out right in front of your face. But the only ones who will see it are the ones who the Lord blesses with eyes to see it. And majority of these people, especially anybody that supports Trump, is completely blind to it. They think everything that he does is just perfect, when in reality, it's some of the stupidest things that could ever be done. And it's only going to further destroy the U.S. and not help this place, which ultimately, those of us of the hopeful elect know that America is going to get destroyed regardless of what anybody does, because the Lord has already ordained that this place was going to get destroyed. So it doesn't matter how many partnerships with other countries the U.S. has. There is no saving this place. There is no making America great. None of that. America will be destroyed via thermonuclear destruction. And Trump being in office just seems to be what the Lord set up to speed this thing up. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. In closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakudash, the one of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, for putting this spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to our brothers who are still firmly preaching the word in sincerity and in faith, and shalom to all the sincere believers. I hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up, and Ottawa and Ratazah. Till next time, shalom.